Good day, good Thursday. We are now doing another math lesson. It is called problem solving. How many are there in all? And this is a math lesson for Thursday. Please, for this lesson, you will need to get out your crayon box or your pencil box. Get out 2 crayons, and you will need to get out your math pages. Please get out math page 357. 358, 359, and 360 because we're going to do the first 2 pages together. I'll give you a minute to get them together. Now we'll go to the next page. Thank you. Now, first of all, we're going to review what a math sentence looks like. In order to do that, first I think we need to review what a written sentence looks like. If you look on the left-hand side, you will see 3 sentences. Let's start with the top lesson. And when we read it, let's point to the word she, because that's the first word. Now, all of these letters you should know. So I am going to underline each letter as we read it. Point to the word she, please. And let's begin. She can, that's our new word, help you. Now let's go back and read. Remember to point to each word as you're reading. Ready? Put your finger in she. Let's begin. She can help you. Now that's a writing sentence. Writing sentences are things that tell you something or ask you something. This one tells you something because we see a period at the end, and it begins with a capital letter, which is the letter S. Now let's go to the next sentence. That is also a telling sentence. It begins with a capital and it ends with a period. Now, I'm going to underline the words we know, and we know all but 2 words. Okay, let's begin. Let's point to I, and let's begin. I do. Oh, the next one, some of you may know. Excuse me, some of you may not know. So let's sound it out. The N goes N, the O goes ah, and the T goes ta. Now let's try putting our fingers together and try it again. Not. So that word says not. Now, I will circle it because that's the word we are learning. Not. So let's go back to the beginning of the sentence and read. I do not. We know the next word because it is like. Then go to the next word. We don't know this, but we can sound it out. It only has 2 letters in it. Remember, the I usually goes I, so let's sound it out. It. Let's try it again. It. So it's a word it, and I'm circling it because it's a new word. Now let's go back to the beginning and read. I do not like it. I hope you were pointing to each word as we read it. Now, that's what we call a written sentence, okay? Because we wrote it, and it makes sense. Started with capital, ended with a period because it's a telling sentence. I told you something. Now, let's look at the last sentence. This sentence begins with the word this. So let's all point to the word this. Okay, we know that word. So let's begin. This is a, and now let's stop for a second because the next word we do not know. So let's sound it out. Now it has an I in the middle of it, but does not have an E at the end. So the I goes I. In most cases, the vowel makes a short sound. In I, it's I. So let's sound it out. Let's go big. Now let's take each sound and stretch it out. Big. Very good job. And I'm circling the word big because it's a word we sounded out. Now let's look at the next word. It's a word we don't know. It's a word we're going to sound out. So let's begin with the F. The F goes. Remember that I goes in most words, so the stomach goes I, and SH goes sh. Whenever the SH are together, goes shh, like you're trying to tell someone that they need to be quiet. So let's try it again. Fish, fish. So that is the word fish. Let's go back and read the sentence. This is a big fish. And that sentence begins with a capital letter and ends with a period because it's a telling sentence. I'm telling you something. Now, let's look at the next column of, but they're not, excuse me. Let's look at the next column. You do not see written sentences. These are called math sentences. It tells you a story, but a different kind of story. You don't have any capitals involved and any periods. It just has numbers, the plus sign, and the equal sign. So point to it as we do it together. You ready? Let's begin. 3 plus 4 equals 7. That's what we call a number sentence. Now I'm going to make dots again if this is working for me today. So I'm going to try to start with the red if I can, if it's working. Okay. Now let's make 3 dots. So take one color crayon. I'm using red, I hope. But you can use any color you want. And on a piece of paper, make 3 dots. 1, 2, 3. And it didn't come out red or it didn't come out black. It came out yellow. I have fat fingers and my drawing board is very small. So I do 3. Now it goes 3 plus. Remember that symbol that looks like a T is called plus. Or you could say and. 3 plus 4. So now I'm going to try to take another color. Take another color of crayon and on a piece of paper, draw 4 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now, so far my story says 3 plus 4 equals, I need to count all the dots. Let's count them together. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I have 7. So 3 plus 4 equals 7. Now that is what we call a math sentence or a number sentence. Now let's look underneath it and we see another number sentence. Let's look at it. It says 5 plus 1 equals 6. So again, I'm going to make 5 dots. 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus 1, so I'm going to make 1 dot equals 6. I'm going to read the problem again. It says it says 5 plus 1 equals 6. That again is called a number sentence because it tells you something. Now let's look at the last one. It is 2 plus 6 equals 8. Again, we have 2, so I'm going to make 2 dots plus 6. So I'm going to make 6 dots. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And we're going to count all the dots together. So we get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 2 plus 6 equals 8. That is called a number sentence because it tells you a story, but tells you a story in numbers and instead of words. Let's go to the next slide, which is also the last slide. We don't have as many slides this time to work with. Okay, on this page, we're going to work together. These are the 2 first math pages for Chapter 5, Lesson 6. Let's start by looking at the paper on the left-hand side. It's called problem solving. If you look at the picture, we see a castle, a moat around it, a bridge, and we see a door. On one side of the door, you see one person. On the other side, you see another person. Actually, those people are what we call knights. A knight is a soldier. And if you count them together, we have 2. So let's look at the bottom of the page. We have a number sentence. Remember, a number sentence tells us a story by using numbers. We have 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now this time take a pencil and trace the 1, the plus symbol, the next one, the equal symbol, and the 2. So you can read 1 plus 1 equals 2, and I'll give you a minute.
Unknown caller.
Sorry for a second, I had a phone call. I tried to make it quiet. Now, let's go back. If you notice at the bottom of the page, we're going to make circles. The top of the page you saw 1 knight plus another knight equals 2. Now, I don't expect you to write knight, so look at the first one in your number sentence. Do you see the dot? First, trace the dot with your pencil. Then, pick one crayon. Pick one crayon and color in that dot. I cannot color it very well because it's hard using the screen, but you get the idea. Color that dot in one color. Now you have 1 dot. Now you're going to, next you go plus 1 other dot. That would be like the other knight. So you're going to take another crayon and you're going to color in that circle. So it goes 1 plus 1 equals 2. Now in the picture you had 1 knight plus 1 knight equals 2. And instead of drawing pictures of knights there below, we drew pictures of circles. So we did 1 circle plus 1 circle equals 2. We made the same story, but just using circles instead of knights. Now look at the next page, which is page 358. On the top, you see astronauts. And on one side and in the middle, in the middle of the page is the American flag on the top in the middle. If you look to one side of that, you see 2 astronauts. If you look on the other side of it, you see 1 astronaut. Then look below at our story. We have 2 plus 1 equals 3. So using your pencil, go on top of the 2 plus 1 equals 3. And I'll wait. Okay, now again we have 2 astronauts plus 1 astronaut equals 3. And we this time are not going to draw astronauts, we're going to make circles. And they don't have circles for us to color in, so we have to think. Our story starts with 2. Remember, this is a number sentence. So our number sentence starts with 2. So I'm going to take 1 color and make 2 dots above the number 2. 1, 2. They're small dots, but you can still see them. So you make your 2 circles above the number 2. Thank you. Then you plus, and then you have 1. So taking another color crayon, you're going to make a dot on top of that 1. Oops, that came out the same color. So I'm going to erase it. And let's see if this works. Yes, it was purple. So now we have 2 plus 1 equals 3. That is a number sentence. Now for homework tonight, which is Thursday night, you need to complete page 359 and 360. Remember, when you're done, have your parent hit the return button, or it might say completed button. If for some reason that's not working for you, Mom or Dad can call me on Thursday between 8 and 4 and let me know that you have done it, but for some reason the button isn't working. Sometimes the button gets sticky. Anyway, have a nice rest of the day, and I'll see you later. Bye.